My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my ranking of Black Mirror Season 4, and this video will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But another Black Mirror season, another hit or miss season. It's just a very inconsistent show. One moment you're watching an incredible work of art, and the next you're watching the most overlong piece of shit. So let's get into it. And the worst episode this season actually wasn't that bad compared to past seasons. And I thought the worst episode is Crocodile. I think you got yourself a pretty decent plot. It's pretty much I Know What You Did Last Summer with a slight sci-fi twist, but I just don't think it leans into the sci-fi aspect enough. I feel like it could have said something about humanity and technology and how we remember things, but instead it just comes across as a contrived plot device, and the ending, as much as they're going for a very effective moment, it just feels weightless. And also, if people can change their memories, then what's the point of this machine? So, yeah, it just didn't really do anything for me. It's very forgettable. The second worst episode is Metalhead, and it's directed by David Slade, who is a director I would actually like to see more movies from. And I do think there's a neat idea here of this robot dog hunting this woman down, but it's just executed in a very forgettable fashion. It just isn't as entertaining or as tense or as thrilling as it should be. It feels incredibly stretched out, and I like the note it ends on about them doing all this for just some childhood innocence, but it just lacked that weight it needed, so that's why it's the second worst episode of Season 4. The third worst episode of Season 4, and this is a hot take, and I still, from this point on, I like the episodes, but Hang the DJ was nowhere near as good as it's been made out to be. I thought it was sweet enough, romantic enough, and charming enough, and I get kind of what it's trying to say about people's obsession with expiry dates and when a relationship might end, and I feel like it might be more relevant now than ever due to all the different dating apps. But man, it just was lacking that punch, Despite all the ideas it's trying to tackle, it still felt very surface level, and the two lead performances do a very good job. They have lots of chemistry, but I don't know, it just wasn't that good, and the ending is absolutely retarded. Like, it is the most unnecessary, pointless twist in this show I think we've seen yet. But now we get into the episodes I legitimately really liked, and my third favorite episode is Archangel. Now, I've seen the common complaint for this episode that the daughter doesn't look 15, but at the time of filming this, she was like 20, 21. So that's usually normal for Hollywood. So she does look older, she does look more mature, but I don't know if I can complain about it too much, but I feel like this episode does a real good job of just tapping into a parent's insecurities and how it can be well intentioned but ultimately does more damage than harm. And how this mom, you understand why she's doing the things she's doing, but you just want her to stop, and you understand she's invading privacy and it's just way too much. And in a day and age where you can track your kids on your phone and everyone can get a hold of anyone whenever they want, I feel like it's also really relevant, and also how that kind of attitude kind of pushes the kid farther and farther away. So I really like that. So that's why it's my third favorite episode. My second favorite episode is Black Museum. Now, this is Season 4's White Christmas, but I feel like it was done much better. Now, It's made up of 3 different stories with an overarching story, and the first story about this guy who becomes obsessed with pain is really dark. I do think it goes on a little too long, but everything in the second story with this guy's fiance, wife, girlfriend, I forget, but whole consciousness in his head, I thought was legitimately really terrifying and just psychologically disturbing. And when she ends up getting put in a teddy bear and the new girlfriend is yelling at her, I was just like, man, this is making me sick to my stomach. Really effective stuff. The third story is good. I do wish it could have had a bit more emotion. It does get pretty into leftist politics for like a good minute, but it's not too much. But the overarching story, when just everything comes together, is so effective and just it's a great. It's got lots of great different horror elements, some better than others, but it just really comes together in the end. And I thought Leada White gave a very strong performance here. And so did everyone else. So that's why it's my second favorite. But you knew what my favorite episode of this season was. And it's so funny because I thought this episode, like everybody loved it when it came out. And I thought it was like a fun Star Trek-like episode. Oh no! It is a psychologically disturbing, terrifying episode. It's like the woman's version of Get Out, where you just got this insecure, pathetic man trying to create his own fantasy, trying to play God, and just finds a way to do so. And man, this really got under my skin when the main girl's just trying to escape and he erases her face and he's just torturing her, and then he turns Michaela Coel's character into this giant monster, and just to see an evil guy with so much power, just I just found it to be absolutely terrifying and really well done. You know, and yeah, Jesse Plemons is absolutely phenomenal here. He's downright disturbing, and he plays the part he needed to in the real world, but he also plays the evil madman perfectly too. He's 2 very different characters, and I love how he highlights that. Christian Milioti, hot take of mine. You ready? I think she should have won an Oscar for Palm Springs. She's incredible in that movie. She's incredible in everything. She is beautiful. She is charming. She is hilarious. And she carries this incredibly well. She sells you on the pain and the horror this character is feeling. So really impressed by her here. Jimmy Simpson, I thought, did a pretty good job as well. Michaela Coel was really good. Billy Magnuson, really good as well. Milanka Borks, Orsi Ekar, all gave great performances. So it's ambitious, it's out there, it's doing something different, it's transitions in a really effective manner. My only issue, the only thing holding this back from perfection is the ending. I do think it's a little contrived on how the heroes win the day. Like, yes, it's a nice note to end on, but I don't know if I buy into the internal logic of this episode, but I still really loved it. Like, it's my second favorite episode of the show so far. But have you seen Black Mirror Season 4? What are your favorite and least favorite episodes? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for more videos soon, and Gavin, out.